I requested an Uber from downtown after my shift ended at 2 a.m. I was exhausted, just wanted to get home. The driver had perfect ratings, 5 stars, over 10,000 rides. I figured I was in good hands. His name was Robert. The black Toyota Camry pulled up within minutes. When I got in, I noticed something off. The interior was immaculate, almost medical in its cleanliness. No air freshener, no phone charger, nothing personal at all. Robert didn't say hello, just nodded and started driving. I gave him my address and leaned back. That's when I realized we were going the wrong way. I mentioned it politely. Maybe he knew a shortcut. He said he did, kept driving. But we were heading away from my neighborhood toward the industrial district. I checked the app. We were now 15 minutes off course. I told him to turn around. That's when he adjusted his rearview mirror and I saw his eyes for the first time. They were empty, like looking at a doll's eyes. No emotion, no life, just vacant. My stomach dropped. I reached for the door handle. Child locks. My heart started racing. I pulled out my phone to call 911. No signal. We'd been driving for 30 minutes now, deep into warehouses and empty lots. No other cars, no witnesses. That's when Robert finally spoke. His voice was flat, robotic. "You're number 43, all 5 stars, all perfect rides, all missing now." My phone suddenly buzzed with signal. Dozens of messages flooded in. The Uber app showed my ride had been completed 20 minutes ago. I'd been rated 5 stars, but I was still in the car, still being driven to God knows where. At a red light, the only one we'd hit, I smashed the window with my laptop bag, cut my hands on the glass, but I didn't care. I ran. I found a 24-hour diner and called the police. They found Robert's car abandoned 2 miles away. In the trunk were 42 phones. Each one had the Uber app open, each showing completed rides with 5-star ratings. The driver profile had already vanished from the system. Uber claimed no driver named Robert existed in their database. But I had screenshots. I helped identify 12 of those phones. They belonged to missing women from the past year. All had taken late-night rides. All had supposedly completed their trips normally. The car was registered to someone who'd been dead for 3 years. They never found Robert. I still take Ubers. I don't have a choice. I don't drive. But I screenshot everything. Driver's license, profile, route. Last month, I got a notification that made my blood run cold. Robert had viewed my rider profile. His account showed 1 new ride completed, another 5-star rating. I checked the news. Another woman missing. I reported it immediately, but the profile was gone again. He's still out there, still hunting, and I think he wants to finish what he started with me. I was coming back from my brother's funeral in Portland. Red-eye flight, landed at 1 a.m., exhausted, emotionally drained, just wanted to get home. I selected UberPool to save money. Funeral costs had cleaned me out. The app showed another rider would join. Whatever, I just needed to get home. The driver who picked me up was already sweating in the cold October air. His hands shook as he loaded my bag, kept muttering prayers under his breath. I figured maybe he was new, nervous about late-night rides. I got in, gave him my address, closed my eyes. 10 minutes later, we stopped at a corner in Riverside District. Dark street, broken streetlight flickering overhead. I looked around. Nobody there, just empty sidewalk and shadows. I was about to tell him to keep driving when the car door opened by itself. The dome light didn't come on. Someone got in beside me. I shifted over, glanced at the new passenger. My brain couldn't process what I was seeing. It was like trying to stare at the sun. My eyes kept sliding away. Female, I think, young, wearing something white. But every time I tried to focus on her face, it blurred. She smelled like old flowers in rain. She leaned forward, whispered an address. Riverside Cemetery, East Entrance, please. Her voice sounded like it was coming through water. The driver made a sound, half sob, half prayer. His hands were shaking so bad he could barely steer. That's when I noticed the interior lights were off. He'd turned them off. The heat was blasting, but I could see my breath. 20 minutes of silence. The girl, woman, whatever she was, didn't move once. No phone, no fidgeting. I don't think she even blinked. When streetlights flashed through the windows, I caught our reflection. 3 people in the car, but in the reflection, only 2. The middle seat empty, but I could feel her there, her shoulder touching mine, cold through my jacket. The driver suddenly yanked us into a Shell station, jumped out like the car was on fire. I watched him call someone, gesturing wildly. The passenger beside me finally moved, turned her head toward me. I still couldn't see her face clearly, but I heard her perfectly. He's calling his dispatcher. They all know about me. 5 years, same ride, every night. My phone was already in my hand, Googling before I could stop myself. Riverside Cemetery, accident Uber. The first result made my stomach drop. Jennifer Walsh, 23, coming home from her sister's wedding. Uber hit by a drunk driver right at the cemetery entrance. Wall collapsed. She died instantly. 5 years ago, October 15th. I looked at my phone's date, October 15th. The driver got back in, pale and shaking, whispered to me, "That entrance has been sealed since the accident, but she asks every night, we have to take her." I wanted to get out, run, but something made me stay. Maybe it was grief from my brother's funeral. Maybe I was losing my mind, but I stayed. We drove to the cemetery in silence. The east entrance was exactly as he said. Twisted metal, collapsed stone, memorial flowers everywhere. Fresh ones. The door opened. The weight beside me lifted. Through the window, I watched footsteps appear in the wet grass, leading toward the rubble. The driver was crying. "Every night," he said, "different drivers, different passengers, but she always finds a ride." I checked the app with shaking hands. Only one passenger listed, me. But the receipt showed shared ride pricing. There was a rating from the other passenger, 5 stars. Her comment destroyed me. "Thank you for not being afraid. My sister got married again today. I just wanted to make it home this time." I've taken UberPool 6 times since then. Always late October nights. Always when I'm coming from somewhere emotional. My therapist, my brother's grave, my ex's apartment. And sometimes, just sometimes, the app matches me with Jay Walsh. I always accept now. She just wants to get home. Don't we all? The only difference is, some of us still can. I just started driving for Uber after my divorce. Needed the money, lawyer fees, alimony, starting over at 35, 6 months in, barely making ends meet. That Tuesday night, I was about to call it quits. 2 a.m., no rides for an hour, sitting in a Walmart parking lot wondering how my life got here. Then the ping came in. Airport run, thank God. The GPS did something weird, suggested a route through somewhere called Willow Heights. I'd lived in this city my whole life. Born at St. Mary's, went to Lincoln High, got married at First Baptist. Never heard of Willow Heights, but the time estimate showed it would cut the trip in half. Passenger was already texting about being late, so I followed it. The second I turned into Willow Heights, my radio died. Not static, just dead air. The houses. Christ, the houses. Copy-pasted like a computer glitch. Every lawn exactly the same height. Every porch light on. Every window with the same curtains. At 3 a.m. My passenger didn't notice. Head buried in his phone. But I felt it. Something fundamentally wrong about this place. We made it to the airport in 12 minutes. Should have taken 40. The businessman threw me a $100 bill, said keep the change. 5-star rating before he even got out. I sat there shaking, checked my GPS. Willow Heights was gone, like it never existed. But that 100 was real. So was my empty gas tank, even though I just filled up. I became obsessed. Started taking only late-night airport runs, hoping to find that road again. It appeared randomly between 3 and 4 a.m. Never the same entry point. Always the same perfect houses. Every passenger tipped huge. They'd stumble out confused, checking their phones, muttering about the time. My bank account grew. My memory started having gaps. I'd pick someone up at 3:15 a.m., drive through Willow Heights, and suddenly it was dawn. My ex was calling about missed alimony payments. How could I miss them? I'd been making more than ever, but entire days were missing. My odometer showed thousands of extra miles. I was aging in the mirror. Gray hairs, lines around my eyes that weren't there last month. Last Thursday, I decided to record everything. Set up my phone to live stream the whole ride. Got a ping at 3:33 a.m. Note said, "Take the special route." I tried to go normal streets, but the wheel turned itself. My foot pressed the gas without my input. The phone kept recording as we entered those impossible streets. That's when I saw her in the back seat. Me. But older, maybe 60, 70, still in an Uber shirt so faded I could barely read the logo. Her voice was my voice, 30 years of cigarettes later. "Pull over. We need to talk." I couldn't stop. The car drove itself. Older me laughed. I remember this night, thinking I was losing my mind. You're not. You found the crossing route, the place between here and nowhere. Those passengers, they died on the way to the airport. Heart attacks, strokes, accidents about to happen. We give them one last ride. My phone was going crazy, comments flooding the live stream. "Where are you? That's not on any map. Call 911. But the screen showed the date as 2054. My driver profile had 50,000 rides, all through Willow Heights, the same passenger names cycling endlessly. I looked at my hands on the wheel, liver spots, arthritis. Wedding ring I'd pawned years ago back on my finger. Every night, same loop, older me continued. They need drivers for the crossing. We volunteered the moment we took that first route. Time doesn't work right here. You've been driving for decades already. Your ex remarried. Your kids grew up. Your real body probably slumped over the wheel somewhere. Another Uber driver having a stroke. I woke up in the hospital 3 days later. My daughter, when did she get so tall? Crying beside the bed. They found me in a field off Route 9, massive heart attack. Been gone for 8 minutes before paramedics brought me back. But my phone showed something else. Hundreds of completed rides, thousands in earnings, all dated years in the future. I can't drive anymore. Doctor's orders. But every night at 3:33 a.m., I dream about Willow Heights. See myself still driving that loop, still ferrying the dead. My daughter says I sleep talk, addresses that don't exist. Last week, she found me in the garage, sitting in my old car, hands on the wheel. The engine was off, but the odometer was spinning. Forward, always forward. Through streets that don't exist, to destinations no one reaches. And I think part of me never left that route.